One of the secrets to getting tons of flashcards done in your study in medical school is being able to connect a controller to Anki. So let's go ahead and go through how do you connect a controller to Anki. First, we're going to determine if we're using Windows or Mac. If we're using Windows, we're going to be using Joy to Key. It's free and fairly easy to set up to and enjoyable for Mac. I personally use an Xbox controller that connects via a receiver, but if you have Bluetooth, you're going to need to connect that to your laptop prior. You can simply type Joy to Key into Google. It should be the first search that pops up, and just go ahead and scroll to the bottom, and that's where you will be able to download Joy to Key. This is the screen that you're going to see when you download it, and it might seem a little overwhelming at first, but we'll go ahead and break it down. But to simplify it, you're basically going to press a key on the controller followed by one on the computer, and that's going to sync those two buttons and will allow you to study without having to have your hand over the computer, which will make it very easy when you're trying to do 500 plus flashcards or you want to run while doing your Anki. Lots of benefits to having a controller available. So let's go ahead and break that down now. So now we're going to go over the button layout, and if you need, now would be a really good opportunity to take a screenshot, just so that way you have all the different numbers as I've indicated on the controller with the button that I personally use on the laptop. So you just push the button on the controller followed by the button on the laptop, and by doing that it's going to sync it. I'm just going to go over a few of them so you can understand why I picked those, but at the end of the day you can really pick what you want to sync. If you're familiar with Anki, then you can really customize it to however you want, but this is just what I personally use. I put left trigger as shift. That way, if you need to do shift 1, you can suspend cards. I like to use the left toggle as the mouse, as you see indicated with 3. The button above the left trigger, I put a Z, so Command Z can help you undo things. Clicking the left toggle, I put as N, so you can open your one by one notes one at a time. D for the start button lets you bring you back to home screen, and minus for 6, that helps you bury cards. The right trigger I put as command. It makes it a little easier having the trigger as command and shift when you're trying to click multiple buttons at once. For flagging cards, if you're going to do command 1, 2, or 3, as well as command Z to undo things, as we showed earlier. The buttons you're going to be using the most, your bread and butter, is going to be the A, which is your enter, so that flips the card initially. And then I like to use the button above the right trigger, 9, as 3. So you're going to be clicking flip and good, and that's what you're going to be doing most of the time. Or X, which I have as 11. And so that's just going to be helpful having that. And then I put the right toggle as scrolling the mouse. That can help you move through the browse a little easier. And then clicking the right button pauses. So if you're working with the timer, then that can be helpful to pause the timer if you need to, if you're trying to go fast. Now we're going to go ahead and go through Enjoyable with the Mac. But before we start, just remember if your Mac needs an adapter to have that before you, or so that we can connect your controller, unless it's Bluetooth that hooks straight up, and then you'll have to make sure you have that before we move forward. Okay, so once again, you can type Enjoyable Controller into Google search, and it should be the first option that pops up. Go ahead and open that up, and here's kind of what it looks like, and right there you can download the zip, and that'll open up your Enjoyable, so then you can begin connecting.
So now I'll go ahead and show you a little bit more in depth on Enjoyable, because that's the one I use for my MacBook, my primary controller. And so here you see my controller. You can go ahead and come up here. Here's my current settings, but I'll go ahead and show you with what I told you before. You can go ahead and add. You can name it. So we'll name it Anki Demo. Now you can come down here, and now with each button you click, you just go ahead and click it on the controller, then the computer. So you have here, clicked X, go ahead and click 1 for again. Here you can click 2 for hard, our B for easy, then our A, we had that as enter. Right trigger, you have that as 3. This, button above right trigger was 3. Right trigger was command. Left trigger, you have that as shift. Button above left trigger as Z. Left click, N. And then you can move this to each of your mouse movements for the for the toggle stick, so go ahead and just move it for each of the directions.
And once again, if you didn't take a screenshot before, here's the same breakdown. If you didn't hear me before, if you skipped to the end because you had a MacBook, go ahead and rewind and watch the button layout as I explain it. Once again, your bread and butter is going to be your A for enter, your X for again, your Y for hard, your B for easy, and then the button above the right trigger as your good, which is 3. So thank you again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day and good luck studying.